Alright folks, welcome to another beer review. Apologies for the background noise. Making some air fryer pizza. Trust me, it works. And yeah, I thought while I'm doing that, I'll shoot a quick beer review. So I think this is the first Abbeydale review I've done on the channel. Mental if that is the case. But I have had a few Abbeydale beers over the years. I think more when I've been out and about and they've might been on keg or cask. Can I 100% back that? No, I can't. So we'll just leave that point there, if you will. So did a bit of an order from House of Trembler Madness, and I don't know, it just caught my eye. And today we're having a look at Sheffield Rocks, which is a dry hopped heritage pale ale, clocking in at 4.3% ABV. I think brewed initially with like one of the key figures of like the Sheffield brewing scene, and using British hops. I know I very briefly read a description on this just before I started filming, and it's gone in here and come out there, even though nobody's spoken to me. But yeah, so I know that there's UK Citra or Cascade in there, one of the two. We shall see. Let's see if we get some of that British flair. Just been watching, because someone's kindly uploaded the full thing onto YouTube, Marco Pierre White's Great British Feast, which is a wonderful piece of television, let me assure you, including a classic moment of Marco Pierre White requesting that the camera crew stop recording because the eel was frozen. And just the menace, even when he's calm, is just wonderful. Yeah, highly recommended. So I thought, you know what, heritage, British, let's try this. So beer in a glass then, and it's a beautiful, slightly hazy amber colour to it. One thing is worth a really pretty, creamy white looking head. Looking very nice in this little stemmed glass. So let's see what we get on the nose. And coming up to halfway point, so I'll have to check and put them back in. Bear with me 1 second. He says that, and it's not even beeped yet. Anyway, on the nose, it's very sort of earthy. There's like a slight fruity hop character, but very, very subtle. It's just oh, put that on there. It's got a little bit of a ways to go yet. That other half is looking very, very anemic. I'm just talking to myself. Ever the professional. That on for 8 minutes this time. But yeah, frozen pizza in an air fryer, it works. It's mainly because we just haven't got round to having the oven fixed. I am missing making stuff like lasagna, although you can make a lasagna in the air fryer, which we'll probably try. Anyway, back to the beer. There's a little bit of maltiness there, bready, biscuitiness. It's not the most aromatic of IPAs, or is it a pale ale? Yeah, pale ale. But very leafy. It just smells like a really nice walk in the countryside. Wanky tasting note there. Wanky flavour note. But I am a very wanky person. Anyway, let's see what it tastes like. Cheers, everyone. That is very, very interesting. In this sort of like world where every pale ale and IPA is an absolute fruit bowl juice bomb, to have something like this, to some, would probably be a little bit of an unsatisfying experience. But for me, it's refreshingly simple. It's almost got like a slight clove-like spiciness to it. A few herbal notes in there maybe. Yeah, there's a slight like fruitiness there, very, very slight though. Almost has that, it gets you in that same sort of frame of mind from a very well brewed, like blonde ale or a golden ale. But the bitterness of the hops comes through a lot more on this. Yeah, it's not the most exciting, but it's got a real sort of like sense of traditional to it. Almost like what you'd expect like a British IPA or pale ale to taste like from yesteryear, when, you know, we were just solely, I don't know the brewing history, we may have been importing hops from across the seas and the empire for a long time, especially with like the introduction of bringing back spices and herbs and these weird, at the time, weird and wonderful ingredients that are just part of like our normal life now. Like, when was the last time you saw a truly exotic fruit come over to the UK? Obviously, if you go to very select specialist, you know, grocers, or even some of the more, you know, Tory-ish supermarkets, which I do frequent because a lot of the time you have some really good beers and you get some interesting, you know, cured meats, which is always a plus for me. But yeah, maybe I'm just in this overly romanticised mindset because of Marco Pierre White. Maybe that's helped me with this review. But I wasn't expecting to be, you know, it sounds like I'm almost putting it down in a roundabout way, which I'm not. I wasn't expecting it to be like bags full of like fruity, vibrant flavour. But it's ticking all the boxes. It's one of those perfect country pub pints. You know, you've got beautiful countryside surrounding you. You've got nice traditional British pub food. It's going to complement that wonderfully. Now, obviously, I'm not too familiar with the concept of the beer. I'm sure it's intended to celebrate like how the UK and the Sheffield scene has developed over the years, and to celebrate the contemporary. And it does have that contemporary flair to it. But to me, and what I'm getting from this, and I might have completely missed the point, I'm getting a real sort of like traditional flavour without it tasting like old and drawn out, and this is why we don't drink beers like this anymore. Do you know what I mean? I'm really not eloquent in the way I'm talking about this beer, and to me, I'm really, really enjoying it. It's that bitterness on the back end that I'm really, really enjoying, and the malts and the grain are just as prevalent to the experience, as well as the UK hop varietals or variants of, you know, other hops that they've used in this. But no, it's one of those you could easily pick up a 4-pack of this, weather's nice, and just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. It's the simplicity. It's got a slight rustic feel to it as well. Without it tasting like, sometimes, especially with the sort of like the bigger traditional like ale breweries who always seem to get bought out by, you know, conglomerates and then get completely ruined when they bring out like hoppy beers. It's just pleasant, but but this, it's just got something about it. and I'm almost getting like a kernel philosophy with this beer, almost, even though I don't think it's anything like that, or with how the Kernel approach brewing. But I don't know, it's got a real classic, old school, traditional character to it, but the flavours there are lovely. It's an interesting one, this, like I said, and I think I will agree with what I said at the start before I cracked it open. I think a lot of people will probably find this a bit boring, but that's just because they're so used to every beer that they drink is a ridiculously, it's a ridiculous hop soup, which is nice, and don't get me wrong, I'd say 90% or 99%, 95% of the beers that I got in the same haul from Traveller Madness are those sorts of beers. But saw it, it stood out, and I'm glad I bought it, and I'd happily have it again. Definitely, I say this every time with a brewery like this, definitely need to get more of their beers on the channel. And yeah, I shall definitely be perusing the web shop if they've got one, because I really like how striking their artwork is, like just fundamentally. And they've always been, for some reason, I've never added it to the basket, and I can't put my finger on why. Anyway, lovely stuff indeed. If you want something a little bit different, a little bit more laid back, easy going, no airs and graces about it, there's no pretentiousness, it's not trying to sell you something. It's a good celebration of brewing culture and history, and it tastes really good. So yeah, highly recommend this. Sheffield rocks. Love that simple but obviously complex, with the sheer amount of detail to it, illustration on there, beautifully laid out can. And yeah, been to Sheffield once, and that was for Mr. Hopzine's birthday a few years ago. That was some great places, and a place that I very, very much need to go again. So yeah, pizza's probably not done, probably needs a few more minutes, but I'm going to end the review there. If you've tried it, let me know your thoughts, opinions down below. Are you a fan of the brewery? What recommendations do you have? And yeah, cheers for watching, and take care. Bye.